Hi everybody, long time. Apologies for not checking in earlier. Everything's fine. I've got so much to talk about. If anything, I should have created more videos than ever during this period, because in the last 6 months, I have been going to auctions. A lot of auctions, a lot of different areas. I'm going to go into details and some of the things I found out about the auctions, the process. I'll slowly be updating you on these things because it just all wouldn't fit into one video. Once again, apologies. The only thing I wanted to talk about this time is how it all started for me as far as the new realization, and I will touch upon that again in all the future videos. But I realized that there are bubbles that we live in, and they're not the bubbles that everyone's talking about. They're not sods, they're not bubbles of property bubbles or any other asset class bubbles. It's something completely different that I realized in Sydney, for example. Sydney being the way it is, the melting pot of multiculturalism and all sorts of different areas where you can name a suburb, and then you can kind of associate that suburb with a specific ethnic group. I was talking to someone from overseas about that, and they said that that's called ghettos, but ghetto has a negative connotation. So, if you say Auburn, who lives there. If you say Cabramatta or Bankstown, or not judging anyone, Liverpool, we know who mostly that suburb is associated with, and then we get the different suburbs like eastern suburbs. There's a ethnic, or you could say a religious group associated with it. They're not the only ones living there, but that's quite normal. But what I realize is that we all live in bubbles, our own bubbles. The initial bubble is where we live, right? It's our home. So it's your girlfriend, boyfriend, your husband, wife, your kids, your family that you live in, and that's a bubble. And I'll tell you why I'm talking about these bubbles. And then once you sit in the car, that's a teleportation device, and the road gets you over to work. That's your other bubble. That's where you know your colleagues, you know what you're doing at your work. Hopefully you are pretty good at your job, and then you got your customers or whatever your job is. That is your second bubble. Your other bubbles include your other extended family, like your parents, your siblings, sister, brother with their kids, and that's another bubble that you again get yourself in the car normally. Not so much in public transport these days, but you could, wear a mask and all that, and get to that bubble and be in that environment and be in the bubble. The other ones are some shopping centers, or shops that you normally go to, or football games, or they're just really all our bubble. Why am I saying this? Is that no matter where you live, there's only one thing you want to make sure. There's different priorities, of course. It's not as simple as I'm putting it, but you want to be close to all the other bubbles. You don't want your home bubble to be too far away from home bubble, and too far away from your family if you are on good terms with your family, assumed, and friends. So you don't want to be too far away. As far as being close to the beach, well, you pay for it a lot more to live close to the beach. Instead, you could live in a bubble in Castle Hill, and in a beautiful big house on probably a small block of land, which is perfectly okay. And then you can just get yourself in the car with your family and transport yourself from your most common bubble of home and most known to you to the beach. But it's not close. You have need an hour to drive to the beach. Sure. How often do you go to the beach? How many warm, hot days there are that you are free and the whole family is free to get in the car? There aren't, unfortunately, that many days in summer or anything else you do, but this is a good example. There's nothing wrong with living too far away in your bubble as long as you are comfortable there. Having said that, we talk about areas where you want to live. Where do you want that bubble to be? Provided that it's close to all of the other bubbles that matter to you. There is schools, obviously, private schools, government schools, where is a big determining factor, it turns out, where people will pay a lot more than they were intending to pay for, say, a property for a house, just to be in that catchment area. It's known to everyone, and that's how prices get beat up in suburbs that seemingly seem to be far away from the other bubble that was the city, that is not all that relevant anymore, by the way. But that's the importance to some other people. We'll go into specifics and prices, but just, you can live in the west, depends where though, northwest, southwest, but let's call it $1 million place, and you'll be perfectly comfortable there. We have 4-bedroom, it might even be brand new, like a duplex or something. Or you can pay $2 million to be a little bit closer, being in Ryde. Yet you're still not at the beach by any stretch of imagination. You still have to get in a car and get there. If anything, if you're living in Northwest and you decide that you want to pay, I don't know, $10-15 at least one way, maybe, to use toll roads, it's not going to take you very long to get places. So where do you want to live? We'll go into specifics about prices, the crazy prices that everyone's been experiencing. A little hint from what I've seen, if they tell us that this is the fastest the property's gone up since 2008, 9, I think, don't quote me on it, but a quarterly or monthly rise, I think that's underestimated. I think the prices in Sydney in the last 12 months have gone up by 30%. Like, I'm not even making it up, especially in these desirable areas, inner west, even northwest. I've got friends who are trying to buy in northwest, and the houses are going for $1.4 million. And granted, that bubble is an hour away from the city, but it's a bubble, and if you're comfortable there, you may end up owning a nice house, but $1.4, $1.3 million, 1.2. I've seen some ridiculous things, but I'll go into details. Like I said, if I went by one, it would have been interesting. I should have been creating those videos, because it's amazing what real estate industry does. But people are doing it to themselves. You can't blame anyone else. You go there, and unfortunately there's someone else cashed up more than you are, and or crazier than you are, to get into a huge mortgage that they may or may not be able to afford, especially after a few years after the honeymoon period. But that's it. I will be creating videos on specific topics. You may see some videos that are not related, because I think I'm just about to create a video on Google Photos. It's kind of an important update that I shared with friends and family that will help you organize your photos, if you can trust the cloud and Googles and Facebooks of this world. Who can you trust? But it's a free service, but you're giving some of your privacy away. It's a good thing. So yeah, Google Photos, that'll be my next photo how to and what to do in the next 2 weeks. With that, I'll end this video. Otherwise I'll continue to waffle. Apologies again. I've seen some comments in there asking for update. Here it is. I've seen some people saying how the incoming call coming, how they would that they missed me and they wanted to see my videos to have a laugh. So that's kind of derogatory, but I have to say there were like 2% of comments in there. No problem at all. If I make entertainment one way or the other, I'm happy to do that. If I make people laugh with my crazy predictions, that's fine as well. It is entertainment. It is not financial advice. It is my thoughts. I think everybody should have a channel similar to this one and express their thoughts this way, and see if there are enough people who agree to it and or want to watch what you have to say, instead of just kind of sharing things and putting things on Facebook and pissing off your friends and family who may or may not, and most likely don't have exactly the same opinions. So, and they don't have to. That's what makes this world go around. Different opinions, and we have to respect that, and not all conform to the current. And I'm not going to get into the current thinking on all of the subjects and everything else for that. And with that, I'll say bye for now, and I'll talk to you soon. All right, cheers, bye.